Hey there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison and I make videos about ministry, motherhood, and marriage. Today I'm going to be sharing a video with you about my second trimester update because I'm currently 28 weeks pregnant. I'm officially in the first week of my third trimester. So I wanted to do a little look back on how the second trimester went and how I'm feeling, what I'm looking forward to, and I also have some just big news to share with you guys. If you're interested in watching my first trimester update, I will link that above right here so that you can check that out as well. I also just wanted to start this video by sharing a scripture from the Bible with you all. I think it's just so important to really keep our hearts centered on the Word of God always. So I wanted to start by reading Psalm chapter 127 verses 3 through 5. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. I love that. Children are a heritage from the Lord. They are a reward, and it is a blessing to have children, especially in our youth. One of the big things I've been really looking forward to sharing with you all is that we are planning a home birth for this baby. Our first birth was beautiful and incredible, but it was very long. It was an induction, and there was just that kind of cascade of interventions that happen oftentimes with hospital births. So if you're interested in hearing that story, it was early 2020, right as the beginning of the pandemic started. So it was really a lot emotionally going through that. It was a very stressful time, but God was super, super good to us and gave us our incredibly beautiful daughter who's going to be 2 years old like this April, which is just crazy to me, and right before our next baby is due. So we're really excited to welcome this new baby. If you're interested in hearing that first birth story, I will go ahead and link that right here above as well, so you can go ahead and watch that video. But yeah, this time around, we're going for a home birth. We're planning, we're preparing, we're praying a lot about this and trying to just learn a lot, educate a lot, advocate for ourselves a lot, and really just praying for a very different experience than we had with our first birth. Ultimately, God is in control, so whatever happens is up to Him. But we are really planning and hoping to have this baby here in our home. We live about 20 minutes from the main hospital in Bend, which is really not far. We have found an incredible midwife. She's very highly sought after here in Central Oregon, and just really, really excited to be working with her as well as her birth team. I'm also hiring a doula. She is incredible. I feel so joyful and peaceful and excited about the birth team that God has really blessed us with. It's such a different experience going to an OB or even a midwife with a group of different doctors or different midwives where you don't know who's going to be on call that day and who you're actually going to end up seeing and who's going to be delivering your baby. The OB that I worked with for many months when I was pregnant with my daughter, Saoirse, I didn't even see her. I was in the hospital for 5 days and I did not see her once. She just happened to not be working any of those days. And I ended up giving birth with a doctor that was just very disappointing and not a great communicator, and I just did not have a good experience with any of the OBs except for one that I worked with in the hospital during my stay. So I'm really looking forward to working with this one midwife and just the experience that it is to meet with her and know that this is the woman who's going to be delivering my baby. Unless, you know, there's some extreme circumstance that prevents it, this is the woman who's going to be working with me most closely all throughout. She knows me, she knows my baby, she knows my health history, everything very well. And I know her and feel comfortable with her. We're doing a lot of prep work, and I feel like I should just make a whole video about how I'm preparing for my home birth rather than try to like catch you guys up really quickly. But I will share some of the things that I'm learning, some of the resources that I'm really learning from the childbirth class that I signed up for. all those kinds of things I'm going to go ahead and share in this video as well, so that if you're interested in a home birth or interested in going, having a natural birth or anything like that, that hopefully this video will be helpful to you too. This last week, we signed up for our childbirth education class. There's so many to choose from, and it's pretty overwhelming. The first time we were pregnant, we went through a childbirth education class that was through our local hospital. If you go to a childbirth class from the hospital, you're going to hear a lot about what it's like to give birth in a hospital, which made sense because we were planning on doing that. So I'm glad we did. But it's just a very different perspective than what I'm hoping for this time around with a home birth. It's just a very different experience. So we decided that we wanted to do an online course, and I was looking at a few different ones. I was looking at the Mama Natural Birthing course, which it comes highly recommended. I was also looking at the Built to Birth course with Bridget Tyler. She's really cool. She has amazing birthing videos. I love her birth affirmation videos. I listened to those when I was pregnant with Saoirse. I was also looking at the Happy Home Birth Academy birthing class. Thought that was really interesting and really enjoyed their podcasts. But I actually ended up settling on this one online class called the Pain-Free Childbirth Education course. It is by Karen Welton, who's a doula, speaker, and childbirth educator. I follow her on Instagram, and you totally should as well if you're interested in natural birth or wanting to learn about pain-free birth. Her Instagram handle is pain-free birth, all one word, and she just has incredible videos that I will just sit and cry at, and think that they're amazing and really helpful informational videos too. So we did end up going with her course. It is definitely on the spendier side, but after doing some research, I waited a while. I really talked to my midwife about it. I looked at a lot of reviews. Really, what was important to me was it would be great if it had some kind of like a Christian or faith-based approach to it, because obviously I am a Christian. I lead a church along with my husband. So having a faith-based approach was not necessary, but was a really big component to me of wanting to sign up for a specific course. And I just love that she had that faith-based approach with it. I was also really drawn to her course because it's a very faith-focused, leaning away from fear and into kind of surrendering that this is what my body is created for reproductively, and it's that birth is nothing to be scared of, nothing to look at with this, inevitable doom that I think I have looked at it like that in the past. So I just loved her very faithful approach around birth. That really drew me in. Now, I mentioned I was looking at doing more of a Bradley method approach, which is what I did with my daughter. But just for some different reasons, I was feeling hesitant. Like, I don't know if that's really going to be the best approach for us. I think I need something that's a little bit more focused on me moving more internally, because that is a lot of what I did in my first birth, and really needed to have the mental, both stamina as well as, I would just call it like emotional depth and awareness and a focus on relaxation, and a very like faith-based, moving against fear and really like unpacking past birth trauma and past birth traumatic stories that I've heard and been told. So I was just starting to feel like, I don't know if Bradley method is really going to be the best thing for us this time around. I want to explore some other options. So I found this app called the Christian Hypnobirthing app. It is awesome. It's like $3 a month, I think, to subscribe for all of their affirmations. So I signed up for that for the next few months here and kind of spending some time connecting with my baby. And I've really been enjoying that, and found that if I subscribe to that app, it would give me a 10% discount on the pain-free birth course that I wanted to sign up for, which is about a $50 discount. Joey and I completed our first module of that this last week and really loved it. I don't agree with necessarily all of her theology exactly per se, but I do really appreciate the approach that she takes with it, and I'm really excited about just continuing this course. This pregnancy, I've felt pretty distracted. I have a lot of stuff I need to get done. I already have a toddler, so my life is busy. Like, just being pregnant doesn't mean that my life comes to a stop. And so I found it a little bit harder to kind of connect with my baby this time around. And that's hard to admit, because I want to say like, oh, I'm, totally connected and I just talk to my baby openly and it's so vulnerable and magical, and I do want to have that, but honestly, it just hasn't really been that way so far. I actually started feeling movement at 15 weeks, which is really, really early, but it's because my placenta is on the back side of my uterus, like towards my spine, whereas with my daughter, it was on the front side, so I didn't really feel her movement until like 20 plus weeks. Like, it was late in the game and I was feeling worried about it, but she was fine. But this time my placenta was on the back side of my uterus, so I could feel movement so much earlier, and baby's just a big mover. So they're squirming around in there and jumping and bouncing. So that alone helps me to feel a lot more connected to this baby. But really taking some time to listen to those Christian hypnobirthing affirmations and recordings that she has on the app have really helped me to connect to my baby a lot more, and just take the time that I've needed to stop and visualize the birth that I want, visualize what my body needs to prepare for, how I mentally need to prepare for this birth. It's not just a physical thing. Like, birth is so mental. So I've really been enjoying just taking a couple of evenings per week to get in the bathtub, spend like a little bit of time in a nice warm tub with some salts, lights down low, turning on one of those recordings, and just placing my hands on my belly, closing my eyes, doing the breathing exercises, and just connecting with this baby, visualizing what kind of birth that I want. And it's really helps me to feel much more aware of this pregnancy and connected to this child. So I really recommend doing things like that. Whatever method you're going for, even if you're not going for a natural birth, I think spending time connecting with your baby is super important. Some of the harder things about my second trimester is that I have had a lot of pelvic pain. So I remember it started because I was running around playing with Saoirse inside, and I just pivoted strangely on one of my legs, and it felt like a pop happened, and I just immediately knew, like, oh my gosh, this is not good. I'm going to be hurting later. And I was sore for days after that. And that's actually pretty common, as the relaxin hormone starts going through your body when you're pregnant. All of your joints start getting a little bit more loose, especially in your pelvis, because it's going to start opening up for baby. So that's really common. And I don't remember it happening until I was well into my third trimester last time around. So it's made me a little bit nervous how early that started. I think that was around like 21 or 22 weeks, which made me really nervous. But it hasn't been that bad. I've been going to the chiropractor, getting adjusted. My alignment was like 1.5 inches off in my pelvis. So I was really, really grateful I was able to get in and see a chiropractor, get that adjusted, and just getting those consistent adjustments and like physical support and doing different things physically has helped a lot with that pelvic pain. But that has been pretty difficult, and I notice at the end of a long day, if I've been really moving and active a lot, exercising, doing different stretches, my pelvis will start to feel kind of achy, and I have to really take a rest and take it easier. Oh, someone's here. Hang on. I got a package. It was UPS, and it's actually perfect timing because if it's what I think it is, I was going to talk about it in this video. It's a pregnancy thing. So I'm glad this came when it did. I've really been having a lot of indigestion pain, like gas pain. I remember that from my last pregnancy pretty well. I'm having a lot of like upper belly and even like heartburn, just kind of a little pain in my upper belly. So I was talking to my midwife about that, and I feel like there's so many things in pregnancy and parenthood and everything that are like simple fixes, but you don't think about it until someone else tells it to you and you're like, oh duh. But she was like, maybe you should try eating a little bit more slowly. Because mamas, we're running around all the time and we tend to eat really quickly, and that'll give you heartburn. So maybe try eating a little bit more slowly and see if that helps. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, that's exactly what I need to do. She also suggested that I order some papaya enzymes, which is basically like a natural and affordable digestive enzyme that you take rather than like something like Tums, which can build up calcium deposits in your placenta. A papaya enzyme can just kind of aid in digestion and help things move along. Let's see if this is what I was thinking it is. I think so. This is weird packaging. It's like a rolled up piece of cardboard. Am I doing this wrong? Yes. Cool. Okay. So this is a tincture that my midwife recommended for me. It's called Varicosity for Pregnancy by Wish Garden. It's basically a tincture that helps with varicose veins, which I do get in pregnancy. I got a pretty good number of them in my last pregnancy with Saoirse, mainly in my calves and like kind of around my ankles, but none of them are puffy or anything like that, but just, you know, varicose veins are just not really fun to look at. So it's supposed to aid both in like helping them to go away as well as preventing new ones. So hopefully that works for me. I've always been a little bit insecure about my legs and don't really like wearing, you know, shorts or like skirts that only come down to the knee, like things typically that I wear like longer, because I just feel a little bit insecure about that. Real time here, but that's a struggle, and varicose veins are totally normal in pregnancy. She also recommended eating dark berries because they have a component in them that helps strengthen the vessels that collapse when you get varicose veins. So things like blackberries, blueberries, marionberries, things like that, she said, are really helpful. Some of the supplements that I've been taking, I feel like I've been taking a lot of supplements this time around, like vitamins and just basically more than just your average prenatal vitamin, and I really like that. They help me to feel a lot more energized and just healthy overall. I was literally sick for the first like 3 weeks of 2022 in January, and it was really rough. So I kind of got to familiarize myself with a lot of vitamin supplements to really add to my nutrition. I'm taking a powdered version of calcium magnesium, which is basically something I just scoop. I put it into orange juice. It's by a brand called Thorne. Calcium can help in reducing the likelihood of hemorrhaging after birth. So I wanted to be taking some of that. My midwife just recommended taking a calcium magnesium combination supplement. So I'm going to be taking that on a daily basis. I also take, obviously, my normal prenatals. I've tried a couple different brands. I tried the, I think it's called Nature Made brand from Costco, and those are nice, but I also tried the, I think it's called Smarty Pants version, which is like 4 chewable gummies every day. I also take a daily probiotic, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and vitamin B. I'm really trying to drink a lot of water in this pregnancy because not drinking enough water can lead to low amniotic fluid later in your pregnancy, which I did have with Saoirse. I had a pretty low level of amniotic fluid, which is why they were really encouraging me to get induced in my last pregnancy. So I'm really trying to drink more water with the hope that that will help my amniotic fluid not to decrease later in pregnancy. I'm making an attempt to stay pretty active in this pregnancy, but it can be very hard. I tend to have more of a sedentary lifestyle, sitting in Bible studies, sitting and getting coffee and counseling times with people, you know, sitting and playing with my daughter. So I'm really trying to make a more intentional choice every single day to be active, to get outside, to do something with Saoirse. It's been really sunny and beautiful here lately, so we've been going to the pool. It's an indoor pool, but going to the pool, helping her continue her swimming classes. We go to the park, even just walking outside with her in our backyard. She'll be playing and I'll like do walks in circles or, you know, infinity loops, because I just know that getting walking time in is really, really helpful. So I'm trying to stay active as much as I can. Still doing bar 3. They have a great prenatal class, and so I've been really enjoying that too. But I found it a little bit harder to make time to really get and do some floor exercises. It's easier when Saoirse's asleep and not around because she really likes to do the exercises with me, which is fun, but it tends to just shorten the length of them. So trying to find ways to be active, even just in really small ways throughout the day. I've also been trying to do a lot of deep squatting. So when I'm giving Saoirse a bath at nighttime, rather than sitting on the toilet next to her or sitting on the floor or something like that, we have kind of a smaller bathroom. I just squat and lean against the wall. That way I'm kind of getting some of those muscles really stretched, getting my body a little bit more used to being in that position for longer sets of time. I've also just been trying to do some more floor sitting where, you know, I'm leaning forward a little bit, belly is, you know, out rather than leaning backwards. trying to help baby get into that nice position where their back is against where my belly is. I always forget which one is posterior and anterior, which they're supposed to be, but basically trying to sit on the floor, get baby into the right position, and doing things like sitting cross-legged or having one leg straight out in front of me. All those are really great, easy, simple stretches to do. The encouragement is just for moms not to sit on the couch or lay back a lot like this. Like when you lay back, you're kind of telling your baby to face forward, like the direction that I'm facing, when from what I understand, they're supposed to be the other way, where your belly is supposed to be kind of like a hammock that they're laying in. So all of those positions where your belly's a little bit more forward are really great stretches to be doing while you're pregnant. I talk to Saoirse a lot about baby. We talk about him every single day. Saoirse will voluntarily, without me ever even prompting her, come up to my belly, say, "Hi, baby." She'll kiss my belly, give me hugs around my belly, talk to baby even a little bit. It's really, really cool, and it's just really fun to watch her kind of figure it out. We got like a big sister book for her from the library and really explained to her every single day, like, hey, we're gonna have a baby. We're all gonna have a baby, and trying to make it very family focused rather than like mama's having a baby. I try to say we're gonna have a baby and baby's in mama's belly, and just try to explain the concept to her so that it's not like a total surprise. So we've been preparing her as much as we can and just trying to help her mind kind of grasp the concept. I've kind of developed an evening routine where while Saoirse takes her bath, I put on kind of a heavier CeraVe, like thicker moisturizer on my belly, sides, and chest. And then I also do her cloth type prep in the drawer there and wet her reusable wipes and put them in the wipe warmer, and just kind of do a few things while she's just bathing and playing and is completely safe. I got a lot of stretch marks in my first pregnancy, and I was using, I think it's called Palmer's lotion on my belly constantly. Stretch marks are typically genetic, so they're not something that you can really avoid. So I do expect to get more of them in this pregnancy, but I'm trying to just keep the area really well moisturized because it can tend to get itchier as the skin stretches. I'm trying to take a little bit of time when I hear a scripture or an affirmation to write it down on the notes app on my phone, because I want to create some cards to have up in the home during our birth with a list of those different scriptures and affirmations, things for me to read, things for other people to read to me while I'm in labor, to just help bolster my strength, help my mind to be strong and to be surrendered and joyful and grateful, to remember that it's a very spiritual experience. So I've been writing out different affirmations and scriptures, as well as putting together a kind of Christian labor baby playlist. I think I could probably share that playlist in the description down below. So if I can do that, I will link that Spotify playlist down below in case you're interested in those. I found some really beautiful songs that mean a lot to me, that are familiar to me. I want to have songs that I already know, that are not brand new to me, and that the words just have a lot of impact and will help my mind to really center on God. The last couple of things that I'm doing to prepare for this baby and just that I've been up to in this last trimester is I've been watching a lot of positive birth stories. So watching a lot of home birth vlogs, hypnobirthing, pain-free vlogs on YouTube, as well as just listening to positive birth stories through podcasts and through books and things like that. I think that listening to positive birth stories is really, really important, because what you expect to happen will most likely happen. That is a big principle that I've been clinging to lately, and I think that where your mind goes, your body follows. I have found a lot of these through the Happy Home Birth podcast. I've really been enjoying their podcast a lot. They have tons of positive birth stories just from women of all different walks of life, and they're focused specifically around home birth stories, which is pretty refreshing to me. So I've been loving that podcast. I'm currently listening to Ina May's Guide to Childbirth on audiobook. I listened to it from our local library, got it for free, and have almost finished it. I just started it like a day or two ago, and I'm halfway through. And basically, almost the first half of the book is all positive birth stories. So that's been really enjoyable and really just encouraging to hear all these different women and the way that they went through labor. I know that most women, including myself, get the What to Expect When You're Expecting book in your first time pregnancy, but I remember my midwife at one of our first appointments being like, that is the worst, like it's not helpful, don't read that book. And I was like, oh, okay. So I actually have been reading the Mama Natural week by week pregnancy guide book, and that is a way better version of a kind of week to week guide through your pregnancy, especially if you're more naturally focused mama. I just think it's a really great book and I've been enjoying it a lot. So highly recommend that. I also picked that up from my library. And then lastly, I've just been enjoying hand making some different things for this baby. I made them a quilt. It was the first quilt that I made ever and really enjoyed that. I'm finishing up crocheting a kind of neutral palette blanket for them. I made a little bonnet for them as well, and I'm just focused on kind of enjoying some of that little time that I have left of extra time in the evenings to myself where I can work with my hands, make things for this next baby, and just enjoy that process of little keepsakes that I'm gonna have for hopefully years to come. I've really been organizing and decluttering all of Saoirse's stuff from her, newborn days and just that first year of her life, figuring out what we don't need, selling some things, donating most things, and just going through kind of getting my newborn outfits picked out, finding some gender neutral things. And I've really been enjoying that. So if you'd be interested in seeing like a newborn thrifted haul, I've really thrifted everything. I don't know if I've bought anything new for this baby yet. So if you're interested in seeing like a thrifted newborn haul, leave me a comment down below and let me know. I'd love to put together a video of something like that for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, be sure to hit subscribe and the like button down below. Really supports my channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.